Fear. When it comes to horror video games, it's a pretty mixed bag for me, but Fear is one of the games that I remember enjoying a lot as a kid. From big gun battles, to plenty of scary moments. So how does the game hold up today? Well, let's take a look. What's up everybody, I'm Cam Critic, and let's get into Fear. In the game, you're part of what's called the Fear Team, First Encounter Assault Recon. And you play the game as a character known as Point Man. You start out chasing a man named Paxton Fell who's taking control of a clone army and basically wreak havoc with it. But as the game goes on, you learn more about Armacham, the corporation that Fell is attacking, and learn about the shady stuff they're doing. You also get to learn more about this girl named Alma and get to discover that she's actually the one pulling the strings. The game's concept is pretty good, and the villains themselves, Fell and Alma, are very well executed. Fell, you can tell, is a psychopath, but at the same time he has this calm demeanor about him that gives him a certain eeriness. Alma is a minor menace that slowly builds up throughout the game. You see a brief vision of her here, another brief vision there, then as the game goes on, the visions get more and more intense. Until you start having actual mind battles with her towards the end of the game. Playing this game again reminded me why she is such an iconic character. She's menacing, she's eerie, and she's not overbearing. She's in there just enough to make you remember her. And if Capcom were being honest, they would admit that they drew inspiration from Alma to create Evelyn for Resident Evil 7. I mean, look at her eyes in this picture here. It's so clear that they got inspiration from Alma. It's a good thing that they did a good job with the villains because in all honesty, the rest of the characters fall pretty flat. They're not in the game all that much, so you really don't see much development of them and really don't get to connect with them. And then there is Norton Mapes. While everyone else may be flat, this guy is without doubt the most pointless character in the entire game. He's supposed to be the comic relief, but he's really just annoying, and he brings the momentum of the game to a complete halt whenever he's on screen. There's this section of the game where you're basically going on a wild goose chase after him, and it is some of the most pointless gameplay I've ever seen. You're basically walking down long halls, no music, no visions, no nothing, and the only thing you get to fight are these annoying turrets. Mind you, this is halfway through the game when you're experiencing this after you've seen a ton of visions and a ton of combat. Now, to the writer's credit, they did realize that they made this character pointless and try to give him a more important role later on. However, though, it's a minuscule role. You could take this guy out of the game completely and it would not impact the overall plot at all. The good news is that it doesn't last long and the momentum continues once this section ends. So while the game does have some flat characters, the overall story is written very well and it sets up some great villains. Considering that there haven't been many shooters over the last decade that had a health bar, it felt jarring coming back to this game. And not only that, but this game has some of the most intense gun battles I've seen. Not only are you fighting a lot of enemy units, but you're fighting intelligent enemy units. This is the most intelligent AI I've ever seen. They communicate, they make their own cover, and if someone dies, they won't go near that area. And also, if they know where you are, they will communicate it to the whole squad. Not only that, but they do a lot of damage to you. I found myself in the red after many fights. You get the ability to go slow-mo for a period of time during each gun battle, and trust me, you're going to use it a lot. I tried doing a few gun battles without using it, and they were exceedingly difficult. You do get med kits, but as the game goes on, they get more and more scarce, making each gunfight more and more dangerous. However, though, with the difficulty, it actually makes the game much more fun. The combat is very intense, and you're really engaged with it. The pacing is a bit mixed. One minute you'll find yourself in a big gun battle, and the next minute you're just wandering around. There's a purpose to it, though. It keeps you on edge because you never know when the next scare is going to come. It plays with your head very well and creates some really great psychological horror. There are jump scares in this game, but they're done with purpose, and it's not just for a cheap scare like so many horror movies do these days. They all have rhyme and reason, and they actually help to advance the plot of the game. This game did have multiplayer, but it's really not worth talking about. I tried to play it a few times and my game just crashed, and ultimately it was pretty simple to begin with, so it was just like, meh, we have it. It honestly didn't bother me though, because the best part of this gameplay experience is in the single player, and there they excel pretty well. Plenty of scares, plenty of action, plenty of atmosphere. One of the best aspects of this game, in my opinion, are the graphics. I mean, yeah, sure, there are elements of it that look dated by today's standards, but there are also some great effects in it. One of the first and most standout effects is the dynamic lighting. I mean, look at this. You can only see light in areas where there is an actual light source, and that takes a lot of effort. Everything is lit as closely as it could be to real life, and when you go through the game, if there's absolutely no light, then it's pitch black, and that's a very cool effect. This also carries in the shadows as well. If you see a shadow of an object is really there. If you see a shadow of a person is very there, which is a feat that even modern day games don't accomplish typically. This game also has very good particle effects. You can shoot a wall, make holes, and it'll create a very smoky battle scene. This is a good thing because it makes battles more intense and more uncertain because you can't see everything. The one downside is that a lot of the level designs in this game look very similar. For the most part, you're either in an office setting or some kind of factory setting. It leads to everything looking the same, and when you're not in combat, you can actually get quite bored of it. Fortunately, there's enough combat and enough scares that pop up throughout the game to keep you interested and distract you from the environments. This game may look outdated in terms of character design and level layout, but in terms of effects such as lighting, it has really stood the test of time and has been influential to many current games as well. Considering all that, I would say that this game looks amazing graphically. Fear is a game that was able to combine elements of both great shooters and good horror. The combat is intense and kept me on edge. And the horror segments did a great job of making me feel uneasy. And while the game certainly has its flaws, the good definitely outweighs the bad by a lot. This game has made a huge impact on horror gaming since it came out, and other games continue to be inspired by it to this day. Overall, this is a game that has aged very well and can still scare you today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of it and share this video if you like it. And if you would like to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell to get notifications. And if you would like to support the channel and help it grow, you can do it through Patreon, PayPal, or Venmo. Links to all three will be in the description below. Again, thank you guys so much. Have a nice day.